Good afternoon, friends. We are meeting again with the same series of mother tinctures and homeopathy, as well as mother tincture, as well as homeopathic therapeutics of the disease conditions. Since last 90 days we are meeting, and we are meeting every time with new subject, with new topic. There are number of students who stimulates me to come again and discuss something with you. So, with different topics, every time I am sharing my knowledge with you. Thanks a lot to Dr. Pradnya, who has shared very nice poem made on me. So, really, this love from all of you stimulates me to come again and again on Facebook Live. So, once again, good afternoon to all of you, and today we are going to learn a very common condition in our day-to-day practice, and that is acne vulgaris. You will find it out why sir is not taking difficult conditions and why such a simple condition. Again, I want to share with you that unless and until you understand the acne in detail, you cannot treat the acne properly. I know that number of homeopathic practitioners have a problem in understanding or treating the skin conditions because it has been not taught clearly in our homeopathic system of medicine. Even skin is the topic which is generally overlooked and never taught in the classes. Students get passed through with a nominal knowledge about the subject and they go through exams, but the real understanding of the skin condition never happens. And that's why I'm going to share with the acne vulgaris a very important topic from practice point of view. You can get ample patients in your practice regarding this condition, because instead of taking the chemical medicines or antibiotics or local chemicals which they used to apply, people are now turning to find it out solution with homeopathy. And with homeopathy, a right answer is there with your medicines as well as topical application. And for that purpose, today I will going to share with you what is exactly mean by the acne vulgaris. Acne vulgaris is the disease of adolescence. Yes, it is termed as acne. It is its skin manifestation is very typically of a pimples. It is because of some internal hormonal imbalance which ultimately appears in the form of some pimples. It affects the internal hormonal imbalance affects the sebaceous gland to secrete more sebum, and at the root of the hair where sebum is more secreted, it ultimately comes out with an eruption on the skin and in the form of a pimple, and that pimple expresses as an disease acne. So it is a sebum which is more and more increased over there, which is responsible to produce acne in the patient. Generally, there are androgens which are responsible to produce more sebum, and that's why the when such sebums are increased, generally the acne are much more. Estrogens, whenever are there, they generally suppress the sebum secretion, and that's why there is less acne formation when the estrogen is normal. So this is one important thing one must know. Then we'll understand what are the different factors or predisposing factors which leads towards the acne. Most common predisposing factor in for the acne is generally these acne runs in families. Hereditary factor plays very vital role, because generally it has been followed that the similar root they carries from the parents, and that's why they carries the increased secretion of a sebum in on their face, the oily greasy face, and which is responsible to produce more and more acne. Any mental stress and strain is also responsible to produce the acne. So, if you understand all those predisposing factors, then you will understand the homeopathic management, how to tackle those diseases. Number three, most common is the cosmetic use. Number of youngsters, they use more and more cosmetics on their faces. That produces a obstruction at the outlet of the skin, and that obstruction leads to the obstruction of a sebum secretion, ultimately infects the skin, and sometimes the simple acne becomes a pustular because of that. It has been found that the constipation is always associated with the more acne formation. So that is one more predisposing factor regarding the acne. Then any mechanical trauma, like there is a habit with the people that if there is an acne, they try to break it up with the help of pressure on it, and they pinch it, and that trauma itself is responsible to produce simple acne into a acne conglobata or a cystic acne. Then one more thing, that the hot humid weather, which is again very common entity, which is responsible to produce more sebum secretion, ultimately expresses in the form of pimples and acne. Eating excessive oily food stuff, then eating the junk food, these are the commonest reason, and nowadays it is tremendously increasing in the young population, and that is another important predisposing factor which causes the acne. And last important factor, one must not forget, that applying the irritants on the face, on the skin, on the shoulders, sometimes even deodorants also they used to use, and they spreads it on body, and that causes obstruction of the outlets and producing more and more acne. So these are different predisposing factors. There are much more also, but these are the commonest factors one must know while understanding the acne. Then we must understand what are the clinical features. Specifically, the main or most important feature is the eruption or a rash, which is of an insidious onset. Generally, especially it starts on the malar aspect of the face. This is very commonest site where it starts first, malar aspect of the cheek, then the central portion of a forehead. This is again one more area where it generally to start with appears, and then it spreads to the neck, then chest, sometimes even shoulders, and it appears to be there on the upper half of the body. Excessive oily secretions on the face, that is another manifestation generally you can get over there, which gets aggravated during hot humid weather. Such a weather which is present nowadays is also hot humid weather, which is responsible to produce more acne. Then one more feature is there, pain over the acne. Sometimes it becomes pustular and it becomes painful. Sometimes it is aggravated, the acne are aggravated by more prolonged exercises. Mild exercises never causes tremendous acne, but more prolonged exercises leads to more perspiration, a sebum secretion, and it leads to acne. By excessive exposure to the sunlight, can cause acne, and it produces the pimples over there. There is a habit with the people, generally youngsters, they tries to do a mechanical injury by pinching the acne on the face or on the back, and temporarily it relieves the pain, but sometimes it can lead to a secondary bacterial infection causing a pustular acne. So these are common clinical features, symptoms basically, the signs which are very important to understand the acne. First important sign is that the where exactly the site involved. The site is already mentioned that it is the rash which appears first on the malar aspect, then on the forehead, then it appears on the shoulders, it appears on the neck, it appears on the chest, only in the upper part over there. And these generally is of a papular variety. So a rash generally of a papular character. They are not pustular to start with. Originally they are papular in nature. Blackheads happens to be there very commonly, or sometimes it is also called as comedones, which appears over there because the sebum which contains over there, when you press it or it exposes to the sun, it contains sulfur, and when that sulfur gets exposed to the skin, it produces a sulfur oxide, and it produces a blackness over there, and that's why you commonly get a scarred acne or scarring over there, or blackheads over there, or a comedones over there. So they are generally associated with that if you try to block the excretory duct over there, it saturates over there and sometimes it bursts open. So that is very important thing which happens to be there. When these blackheads starts accumulating over there, then they starts communicating with each other inside. A papule forms and that papule ruptures over on the face. So this is with it appears on the face. Then another feature which we have to understand regarding the acne is the complications of the acne. There are different varieties which are nothing but the complications. Original acne is a typical papular character which is called as acne vulgaris. But sometimes it happens that acne becomes a very hard cystic. So a first complication, or it is also called either called as a type, is the fibrous proliferation over there around that, and to which we label by the name of a cystic acne. So a cyst forms over there that produces a fibrous proliferations around that, and that acne becomes a big acne on your face, or on generally it appears on the cheek, and it is thick walled, there is extreme tenderness, and fluctuation may be present. So if you try to push it anywhere, it can move to any direction. So that is the first type or first variety or first complication you can say. Second important complication is the pustular acne. Because of a secondary bacterial infection which happens over that acne, it becomes pustular in nature. At that time, it is associated with the pain over there, the discharge from it, which is of a pus, yellowish pus in character. And one more thing, it is tender, but basal erythema, it becomes red over there. Around that pustule, you can get a redness. So basal erythema is quite common with there. So that is second complication or a second type is a pustular acne. First we have discussed the cystic acne, second is pustular. Third is very important variety, acne conglobata. Acne conglobata, it is the number of cysts which connects together on the face inside, not externally but inside, they connect together and forms a very big cystic like lesion, and that is called as an acne conglobata. So the signs are very typical of the acne conglobata over there. They are cystic variety and which appears over there. And last variety, one more, which is called as an exfoliative acne. Exfoliative acne is associated with the secondary bacterial infection over there. There is a tremendous itching over there which happens to be there. There is diffuse erythema. It becomes red completely around that. It becomes diffuse. And scaling which is usually oily, greasy, detached, and there is a generally it comes out on pressure. When you try to remove that, it comes out. So sometimes it also scales. So diffuse erythema is there. Then local temperature might be increased over there because of erythema, and sometimes it becomes more thick. The skin becomes more and more thick. rough over there. So that is exfoliative variety. And one more last variety, it is in fact a complication or a effect of a acne over there. It is called as scarred acne. Scarred acne, it produces a typical scarring. Healing always happens to be there. If it remains for a longer time of duration, healing always happens with the fibrosis. And when fibrosis happens there, it leads to hyperpigmentation over there as well as roughness and a pit formation number of times. So that is last variety of the or last complication of the acne. So we have learned these different complications. First we have learned the clinical predisposing factors, then the clinical features, then we have discussed regarding these different complications or varieties of acne. You will ask why it is necessary. It is necessary to understand because accordingly in your materia medica they are mentioned very nicely. If you open the Kali Bromatum from the even from Allen's keynotes, what sentence which he has written over there on in Allen's keynotes, he explains over there all types of acne, all varieties of acne you can find it out with the Kali Bromatum. This sentence is given over there. So to understand the patient with a better aspect, this is very important to understand the disease. So if we understand all those things, then we can treat the acne. Now I will let you know something which is not taught in homeopathy and which is very important, which I have written as a principles of management of acne. You will ask me, sir, how do you study these? This is only because I have taught the skin to the students of final year. It was, I think, 30 years back, 25 years back I have taught. But I have taught each and every skin condition with a detailing. And principles of management plays very vital role. So what are principles of management? Basically, the advices which you used to give for such patients is very, very important. First important thing, simple technique is wash the face number of times in the daytime. If the face is more oily, ask the patient to wash it with cold water and make it dry. So if it has been done, then it becomes, the oiliness comes down and it becomes very easy to treat the acne. So simple technique, just wash the face number of times and make it dry. Second important thing, we have learned the predisposing factors. So control of predisposing factors is your second principle. Whatever may be, if it is because the wrong diet, you have to change the diet. If it is because of overexposure to the sun, that you have to avoid. Whatever may be, whatever we have discussed up till now, that all those which are causing the trouble, you can control them. And if you control the predisposing factors, the acne are controlled very easily. One important thing advice is that ask the patient to stop breaking the acne, because if they break them, then generally there is a painful, and it becomes, sometimes it can become a cystic variety. Then most important part, when a patient of acne comes to you, reassurance plays very vital role, because it is generally not a disease, it is an expression which happens because of the change in hormones. Generally it happens at the age of puberty. So you have to discuss with the patient that don't get disturbed so much because of that, because if they gets disturbed, it itself is responsible to cause more acne. It disturbs the harmony, then it reflects in the form of more sebum secretion, ultimately increases the number of acne. So reassurance that it is a self-limiting disorder, it will disappear by its own. Over enthusiastic treatment should be avoided while treating the acne. So you should not ask the patient to go for number of local applications, because that over enthusiastic treatment generally affects the patient. So over enthusiastic treatment should be avoided in such types of cases. Then repeated washing with plain water. Then use of cosmetics should be avoided. Mm, what happens because of advertisements of the televisions or advertisements over there on your mobiles? Generally, it happens that people gets attracted towards all those cosmetics. Or nowadays there are beauty parlors are there, or different salons are there, and they make more advertisements regarding all those things. And when person gets attracted toward that, overuse of all causes more acne, in fact more scarring of the acne, and face becomes dark because of that. So it is your duty to tell them that don't use any specific cosmetics. Then there are people who used to use more oil on their hairs. Oil baths they used to do, and that is also one of the predisposing factor which causes a more acne proliferation. A patient can go for mild exercise, but over exercises always increases the acne. So ask the patient to do it in a proper manner and average or in a mild way, but don't do exercise which are exaggerated. So these are basically the principles of management which one must think. I used to ask, if I look towards the patient that if the first face is more and more oily, ask them that to wash it with the plain water, and if it is not possible, yes, sometimes oil clear face wash they are useful to control the oiliness on the face, and that because of which acne can be controlled very easily. Then question arises, which face wash? My suggestion is that don't go for face washes which are made up of chemicals, but herbals one. Even in homeopathy we can get such herbals, and that those are very important. So if greasiness is more marked, then you think of applying them locally. So this is what regarding the principles of management. Then how should be your homeopathic approach? Basically, if acne of a common variety, that is acne vulgaris is there, it never requires too much of treatment. You find it out the case, you just go through the case and how patient reacts to it. It depends upon the reaction of the patient. So ultimately, it depends upon the totality of the symptoms as well as the patient's nature. If you get a proper state of the patient, you can easily find it out a remedy for the case, and you can get very good results in homeopathy. The state is expressed when patient enters in your room. They talks in a different versions, and which denotes a remedy also sometimes. So you have to understand exactly, and that understanding is very important. So in such types of cases, unless the chronic, it is too chronic since last 1 year 2 years the acnes are there, then you have to deal with those patients in a different manner. You have to take the whole case and all those things. But if they are having the acnes and they are coming to you within first 1 or 2 months, and they comes to you, enters in your room with a different attitudes, that you have to watch and you have to pursue. I will share few of them. That patient comes to you and enters and he says, "Doctor, this is how it looks. It looks very odd." कसं दिसतंय डॉक्टर, कसं तरी वाटतं. इतक्या वेळा चेहरा पाहावंसं वाटतं, आरशात पाहिलं की आपलंच आपल्याला कसं तरी वाटतं. This acquired feeling generally comes with when person is young enough. This is quite common, and if face is more oily, they always goes and look towards the mirror again and again and get disturbed again and again. So if you are able to convert it in a proper language, then you can get delusion rest when looking into the mirror, and single remedy is natrum muriaticum over there. Then some people comes to you with a different attitude. डॉक्टर काय कुरूप झालंय, कुरूप चेहरा, माझंच मला बघवत नाही, लोकांना काय बघवणार. They talks in such sense. They immediately labels it that it has been become so worse. So delusion ugly he is, and again you can think of a thuja also. So these are the different things. This is not only, this is the example which I am giving, but this is the approach with which you can approach towards the acne. But for the local application, I used to use one important remedy, and that is the only remedy I generally use in acne, even in all varieties of acne. But basically, when it is scarred acne, acne vulgaris, or pustular acne, I used to use is the Berberis vulgaris Berberis equifolium mother tincture. Boric has mentioned very nicely regarding it. So we'll learn Berberis equifolium from the Porix Matermedica. Berberis equifolium, it is also called as a Mahonia. A remedy for skin and chronic cataract affections, secondary syphilis. What this sentence explains. This is too important to understand. This sentence itself gives a very important indication. This remedy is for skin. Second part, chronic cataract conditions, affection, and secondary syphilis. So this remedy is a defecting remedy. It has effect even in the skin condition, basically in secondary syphilis. Secondary syphilis generally appears on the maculopapular rash all over the body. Sometimes even rash inside the mouth buccal cavity happens over there. Sometimes it produces condylometallata over there. But rash is the most important manifestation of the secondary syphilis. Berberis equifolium plays very vital role in such types of. Acne is one of the important indication for which this Berberis equifolium you can use locally. Then there is one important feature, the head, under head, there are two words which are used. Scald head, it has written over there, scald head or scaly eczema. But what is scald head? Generally what happens, we used to read the terminology and we leave it as it is. If you go through the dictionary, you will find the meaning that any of several diseases of the scalp characterized by falling out of the hair and by pustules, the dried discharge of which forms the scales, and that is called as a scald head. See, this remedy is having action over there also. That is the depth of a Berberis equifolium. So, scald head or scaly eczema, specifically on the head, this is one important remedy. If it is of a pustular variety and the hairs are matted together and there are a lot of pustules over there and patient scratches over there, there are scabs on the head, then there are two more remedies you can think of, that is vinca minor and mezereum. But these remedies specifically have a scaly eczema over the head. So these are very important features one should not forget. Then face, he has written over there the acne, blotches and pimples. Blotches means dark pigmentation. It produces scarring over there. And so acne with blotches and pimples clears the complexion. This is a sentence which he uses. Clears the complexions means that there is a darkness which develops generally because of acne, or sometimes more secretion of sebum, it becomes very dark. This remedy, when used locally, generally removes this darkness over there and it clears the complexion. So if there are scars over there, if there are eruptions over there, very clearly this can disappear when you apply the Berberis equifolium locally. Skin, under skin you will have different features. First important feature, which is given in italics in the Borix Matermedica, skin is pimply, dry, rough and scaly. These are four words which are very essential to understand. It is pimply. What is the difference between acne and pimples? Acne is a disease, pimples is the manifestation. So acne, it is name given to the disease. Pimples, it is the manifestation which appears in the form of a papule over there, that is pimple. So skin is pimply, that means it is a papular rash which develops over there, or papular eruption which develops over there, which is of a dry character, which is of a rough character, and which is of a scaly character. So scaling is also there. It comes out that scaling, it lives, it appears over there. Then eruptions on the scalp extending to the face and neck. That is the second sentence which he mentions over there. So what is this? It is the eruptions which appears on the scalp extending to the face and neck. So it appears over there, then it appears on the neck, it appears even on the shoulders. So it is not only related with the scalp, it's transmitted to different areas over there, and these eruptions are having similar character. They are dry, rough, and scaly. Then this is also remedy for psoriasis. It is mentioned over there. It is a good remedy for psoriasis. Acne, then a dry eczema. So eczema, which is of a dry character, it is not of a wet variety. Pruritus, that is another indication. So pruritus is nothing but itching over there, and glandular indurations. This is again goes with the psychotic miasm. So this remedy plays very vital role at the psychosyphilitic miasm, affects the glands because of secondary bacterial infection, and that's why this Berberis equifolium is very useful in such types of condition. So we have learned regarding this. Then question arises, what about the dose? In boric it has been mentioned that the tincture in rather material doses. So whether to give internally or whether to apply it locally. My suggestion is that to apply it locally. Unless and until it is a similimum, you should not give internally. If you find it out, yes, very typical manifestations of the Berberis equifolium are there. If you read and understand Berberis equifolium and find it out the similimum, it as a similimum in the case, then internal treatment is very good. If it is not a similimum, and if you want to use and remove the acne, the complexion, the scarring, and clearing the complexion, then you use locally Berberis equifolium mother tincture directly. Don't dilute it, apply it directly. Because of the contents, it contains the alcohol, it immediately dries up after application, and oiliness becomes very less because of application of a Berberis equifolium. So I used to use this Berberis equifolium in such types of cases, and sometimes if the pustules are more marked, I used to add calendula also as a local application sometimes. But that is a different aspect of applying the calendula. I will discuss calendula in a different manner with the different cases and in different varieties. But keep it in your mind, if the acnes are pustular in nature, you must think about the calendula using locally over there. So a simple condition which I have discussed in today's session. I will going to discuss very simple sessions in further episodes, but I will definitely going to discuss the understanding of that disease, so that if we understand all those diseases clearly, we are able to apply, or we are able to apply these mother tinctures locally or internally. There was one question is how do we compare it with Echinacea and angustifolia? Basically, Echinacea I never used to use in acnes directly. I used to use it more commonly only in Berberis equifolium. Echinacea I used in a different manner, and that's why that whenever I will going to discuss the ulcers, or I will going to discuss the injuries, at that time I will going to discuss all those other mother tinctures, the calendula or echinacea. But for today's sessions, it is only the acne vulgaris, the Berberis equifolium, that is the only mother tincture I used to use in practice, and I have discussed about it in today's session. So there might be a different questions which arises in your mind, or deep more than me regarding the mother tinctures. It is possible, but generally I find it out that this is sufficient in my practice when used to find it out a right remedy for the case. So that's all for today's session. Thank you being there, attending the sessions very regularly. There are few questions asked by some doctors, but it was just 5 minutes, 10 minutes back before the session. So I will discuss those topics or those questions in tomorrow's session. If you have any queries regarding the any other things, yes, definitely I'm writing down all your questions so that one by one, as time permits, I will going to discuss all those questions. So thanks a lot being attending the session. I will again suggest all of you to share this knowledge of homeopathy with all your colleagues and students and friends, so that homeopathy will reach to the roots. So ask them to subscribe the YouTube channel and ask them to watch videos again and again, so that they can get a confidence to prescribe. So till tomorrow, I thank you very much. We'll meet again on the same platform tomorrow at the same time. Thank you.